Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast, Oh My Friend.
Today we're covering the lesser known anime based on the manga of the same name, Flying Witch.
Now 15-year-old Makoto Kowata is a professional witch who left Yokohama with Chito, her black cat, to live with the Rellos in Aomori, where she trains as a witch. Now, even though Makoto's powers are still limited to just flying through the sky, she and her cousins Kei and Chinatsu make the most out of each and every day. It's a wonderful slice of life. Anime.
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Yes. The first thing I have to mention here before we even continue is how I love the opening song. I love the opening song so much. It has become one of my favorites. From the very first time I heard it, I drove Rascal crazy. I was like, oh, play it again. Oh, play it again. Oh, play it again. And
yes, it's very, very catchy and lighthearted, which really matches the show. Because when we've seen, animes and shows having to do with witches, it's usually always about, goes like a Harry Potter route, where they go about the lore, the magic, the spells, the culture, the prejudice, something's always really going into deep with the lore. But for here, they really don't do that much until it gets towards the end. The show is only 12 episodes long. It's really short, and it doesn't really even tell the whole story because she's there temporarily, and I'm guessing by the end of the manga she leaves and finishes her training. But in here they kind of don't do that. It just kind of ends on them going to a festival or something, and that's the end of the show. And if you think about it, in a way, it's almost like Kiki's Delivery Service, which was in similar fashion where she was in
very
town.
Influenced by it, definitely.
Right. Only she's a little older, I think, than Kiki.
Yes, definitely. And this anime originally aired in the U.S. in August of 2012. But it's still so much fun to watch now, all these years later. I don't think it's being touched by time. It's not dated. And Slice of Life perfectly describes it. It's just so calming to watch, and it's so much fun, and the characters are really likable from the beginning. And even though there's not a ton of development, there's just enough information and knowledge of them and their personalities and how they get along with each other to enjoy them. It was just perfectly done. There was not too much and there's not too little. It's just the right amount for you to fall in love with the characters and the show itself.
Right. And it's just, as you said, it's just a really fun little show, and every episode you meet some new character or some weird supernatural or magical fantastical thing living in the town or something. Why does this exist here? I thought this town was normal. And for what's her name again? Makoto. I think it's funny that one of the running gags that she gets lost a lot.
All the time, going anywhere.
She gets lost in the intro if you pay attention.
She gets lost more than Star.
Right.
And there's not a river.
And it's side.
But yes, she eventually, by the end of the show, she gets brave and she goes on her own, and she doesn't get lost. But as you said in the beginning, even in the opening,
that's what I'm saying in the intro. She's like, oh wait, I go over here, something happens. Oh no, I go over here, something else happens. And then it just goes over doing something else. It's like, man, you can't figure out you have the opening.
And then they go and find her. Whenever she gets lost, they end up going to find her because they know she hasn't come back yet. And they're like, oh, Makoto must be lost again.
It'd be hours and we're going to find her. Oh, she'll be fine. It's got to find her.
And even when she stops and she asks people for help, it doesn't help her. Even with them giving her directions, she still can't find where she needs to go.
Or a map. You can't even give her GPS if they had it.
And that's another fun part of the opening are the lyrics. Some of the lyrics are just so silly they don't make sense. But the main part of it is, I get lost all the time and I'm so silly and I'm so airheaded, but you still like me and you're my friends. And that's really another thing that makes this opening so much fun. I had to mention that because that's really the opening. She's a witch and she can't find her way around. Woo, she's got friends.
That's the whole thing, yeah. So you don't have to really watch them in order. It's not the type of show where there's a big overarching plot or story being condensed into 12 episodes or anything like another anime we watched recently. But no, it's really simple. Even if you don't watch it in order, and just seeing the new characters you see each and every episode, like her sister, who they don't believe is her sister until she says something because of how she acts.
If you watch Food Wars, she's meat. She looks like meat. She acts like meat. It's meat. I was like, that's meat before meat. Oh my gosh.
Right? Yeah, and they're looking like, oh, and they look at her and they see how she acts compared to her and say, are you sure that's your sister? I said, yeah, we get that a lot.
I think her sister's name Akane.
Yeah.
Yeah, Akane. And she is, all she does is relax. And she dresses like a tomboy. And she hangs out with the guys and drinks beer and sake. And she lays around all day. Mm-hmm. But she's a highly skilled witch because she's older than her sister. And she ends up coming to stay with the relatives too. She just shows up
and just stays.
Because
she was away in a desert somewhere, and then she said, "Oh, I'll visit her," and then she stays. It's
and every time you see her, usually the first thing they show is her laying sprawled in the floor asleep, mouth open, drooling. And you're lucky if she gets up and changes clothes when they tell her to go out.
Yeah, because it's like with the American shows where they have the same outfit on every single day, and you just excuse her here, she just doesn't change. It's like,
and that was, now that you mentioned, that was another great part of the show. The people in this anime, I should say, changed clothes every single day. The only thing that stayed the same was Makoto wearing those black tights.
Right.
But they change clothes every day. They've never had the same thing on. That's really different from animes or even just animation you watch, period.
Right. And, they have, like I said, they'll meet one that changes the weather when it's time for spring. They meet this girl that accidentally turned herself into part fox or part dog or something, and she can't undo it because she got drunk. They got a cafe, like a little spirit cafe that was like the
Spirited Away.
Right, that's it. Yeah, so it was like, and then of course you got the cats. The cats don't talk, but they act like they can.
And her cat is named Chito. He's a 17-year-old black cat. That's her familiar, but he never changes into a human. He stays a cat. Mm-hmm. But she has conversations with him. And
she it's a girl. I thought it was a male cat. I think I'm thinking of the one on Kiki that was with Paul Hartman.
And then they meet this girl at the Spirit Cafe that actually can talk to animals. Mm-hmm. And she ends up having conversations with Chito. And Chito loves her because she literally understands everything that's said by animals.
Right.
And they were like, you understand animals? And she's just talking to them. She talks to the bees. They talk to the ladybugs. Mm-hmm. They talk to everything that's animal or insect. And they come to the cafe and have milk and honey and different things,
right?
So cute.
They get all sorts of customers. You're thinking, more people. And it's like, animals and spirits and stuff. That was hilarious.
Now, what's interesting is if you're not a witch or supernaturally sensitive, when you see the cafe, it's run down, broken down, old, and then they do some spell, and it looks brand new and beautiful. So you go in.
Right. And there's one thing I thought was really hilarious.
Don't forget our cousin Kei.
Right. Yeah, who wanted to become a witch's apprentice to learn how to do magic and stuff.
Kei was the male cousin.
Oh, I thought that was...
And they kept making fun of him because he could cook and clean and sew and all these things.
He said, why do you act like a girl? And they were like, oh, gosh.
He's like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's coming from the girl who acts like a tomboy. So.
But he was just really, he just really knew how to do all these things, and he taught Makoto how to do them.
Right.
So that was pretty cool because she learned from him instead of learning from the mom who they call Nana.
Right. And then here, that's what I mentioned is that what was the mom's name again? You said Nana.
Nana. That's what they called her.
And it was her husband. And they actually said in the Japanese he has a different dialect. It's still Japanese, but it's the
Keiji Kumamoto.
Yeah.
The husband.
Yeah, and it's Tsugaro dialect, so he sounds a little off. But then when you do the English dub, he has a country accent.
He sounds like Hinata.
It's like, what the heck? How did you do that?
Yes. That was hilarious.
And then it's
every
like
time he spoke, you just started laughing.
It's like, this voice doesn't fit.
Now the one you're speaking about is Chinatsu. That's the little sister, and she's enamored with Makoto, and she wants to do everything she does and follow her. At first, she didn't like her being there. At first, she was standoffish, but after she saw her doing some things that were involved with her trade, and she thought she was cool, and then she wanted to be like her, and she told her she wanted to train like her, and then she followed her and the cat everywhere. And again, it's just a really, really nice anime.
Right.
We got to see it during the Watchathon week on demand, and we watched it very quickly with some other animes, and it looks like they pretty much only have one season of 12 episode animes.
Yeah.
But that means it's quick to watch and short to watch, and it won't interrupt your other anime pleasures.
Right.
So if you've ever seen The Flying Witch, let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't, you should give it a try. You'll absolutely positively love it. And look up put a search in YouTube for The Flying Witch opening. Watch the opening and come back and tell me just how wonderful it is, and let me know that you could not help clapping along with it, dancing with it, and singing. It's infectious.
Right. Oh, and be sure to like, subscribe, and click notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Yay.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man. Who the hell are you? What you wanna do? My man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to